everyone, and welcome back to Ladies Table Talk podcast. I'm your host, Jess.
And I'm Marcia, the co-host, and I've lost my voice.
So if Marcia has any problems with speaking or, being able to address her points, then I will address and ask Marcia's questions for her.
Thank you.
So today we have another amazing guest, Elka, who will be sharing her story on her experience of childhood abuse and also domestic abuse that she experienced as an adult in a relationship that she was in. She's been through an amazing journey, and I'm going to pass it on to Elka now to introduce herself and just tell us a bit about her journey and what she's experienced and how she's healing herself out of that, and the positive strategies that she's done that's working well for her. So Elka,
welcome, Elka.
Thank you. Hi Jess. Hi Marcia.
Yeah.
I'm Elka, and my experience with, say, domestic abuse or domestic violence started, unfortunately, from a very young age. I grew up in an abusive home. My dad was abusive towards my mom. So we grew up watching, my mom basically getting abused by my dad. And from a very early age, I think that's one of my earliest memories. And sadly, I remember trying to start writing my life story, and I was trying to think of my earliest memory, and the earliest memory was actually of my dad beating my mum up, which kind of, I paused the book.
It's traumatizing, isn't it?
Yeah. When just even acknowledging that was a bit like, whoa, okay, that's a bit sad. So going through many years really of watching that kind of behavior. It wasn't just violence. There was verbal abuse, there was mental abuse, emotional abuse, extremely controlling. Our childhood was very controlled. We were extremely suppressed, to the point where I just didn't understand, why. And we were brought up as Christians. And so in comparison to what I'd heard about other Asian cultures, I was confused, why are we Christians?
Yes.
What was supposed to be different, and
So how did that affect you and, the other siblings in the household? How did it impact you?
How did it affect me? I didn't realize the effects of it until later on in life.
Okay.
Because it was so normal in my life.
Yeah.
However, as I got older, became, a teenager, I began to resent my life. And my dad in particular, and started to think of, how to get out, really. And so when I turned 18, I was like, I'm legally an adult. My dad can't tell me nothing. If he does, I can call the police. The authorities are on my side. And I did. I literally got out of Dodge.
Elka, did your mum stay with your dad? Did your parents stay together?
It was quite, on and off. My mum would leave. And then she would go back. And there was a lot of pressure, I think, on her to, be a good wife, from the community, and also coming from a religious perspective as well. The whole God hates divorce, and she was trying to be a good wife. And unfortunately at the cost of herself and her freedom and ours as well. And so every time she went back, we hated it, And so I think also then growing up, I I developed a resentment towards my mom, and I was angry at my mom as well for letting that happen, in a sense, like going back again and again, like why she...
Did she take you with her, or how did it work? You always were running away with mom.
Yeah, when she left, we would go as well. She knew she would not leave us there. But yeah, the going back was just as traumatic, really.
Did your mom ever get any support from what she was experiencing?
With my mom, I feel her outlook is different. I don't know if she realizes, maybe, you know, from my point of view, that she requires any kind of support.
Right.
Mom's quite, I'd say, quite a strong-minded Christian. So that would be...
And I think as well with the church as well, and not just with church, in a lot of like religious kind of backgrounds, they kind of you know, kind of teach you that the man is the head of the household and you kind of have to submit to your husband. And I think that's taken it's too literally and too far. Even though the man is probably classed as the head, but it doesn't mean that he has a right to abuse you, to control you. And I think that's one of the reasons as well behind domestic abuse, is that those kinds of teachings and those kind of values are taken too literally and used as an excuse to abuse.
And leave the woman powerless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you go to say leaders in the church, or you know, in the community, and you know, you're part of that Christian background or any other kind of, you know, religious, they'll kind of think, well, you know, you're the wife, he's the husband, he's the man, you know, you're supposed to kind of, you know, you kind of then feel victimized, like you're the one that's done something wrong, because
because they'll ask you, you know, where's your faith?
And that as well.
Pray, just pray, God will fix it. And fasting and praying, and you know, we had a few interventions, like growing up, where there was a few interventions, but really my dad was a different kind of character. And no one was gonna get over him. No one.
Are your parents still alive, Elka?
They are, and they are
together,
and now they are together. They had split for a while. You know, it did get to a point where everything kind of crumbled. And they spent years apart, and my dad moved to India. And so my mom, you know, she had the opportunity to actually find herself and become
that's great.
And all the rest of it. And I think also the time that my dad spent in India, that probably gave him a lot of space to think. And so they're actually now back together. They've been back together for about 3 years, I'd say. And this is the first time I've ever seen them happy together. They actually express their love for each other, and it's something that they wanted to do. And my dad's a totally different person now.
That's good.
Well, that's brilliant.
Crazy when
this is really good, because in our interviews we've never really had an interview yet that actually says that you know, the perpetrator
has changed.
So that is wonderful to hear. So for you, Elka, what was the impact on you? Did it affect your mental health, your confidence? Apart from you, what did it do to you?
Looking back now, obviously during the processes, during the years going through it, I didn't see it the way I see it now. Now when I look back, I can see how that environment affected and created and shaped who I was. My confidence was so low. My trust, how I sought out to see, you know, love and purity and all of those kind of things. Like it was strange, because I would end up being with men who were like my dad.
That's quite common.
Oh yes.
Really weird, because I hate, at that time when I ran away from mom, I hated my dad. Hated my dad. Like I would have the sickest thoughts. Like I would imagine myself killing my dad, dying in his sleep. I'd be like waiting and just waiting for the day that he actually died, you know? And that's how much it impacted me.
Because of that, you attracted men who were like,
I'm not going to say all of them, but when I look back at it now, it wasn't that they were abusive, but they also had issues.
That's
how they play out their trauma.
Do you think that it kind of affected what you thought was healthy and unhealthy in a relationship?
It's funny because literally I was talking about this today, and even now, like I'm 44 now, and my last relationship, abusive relationship, was when I was 42. I was absolutely stunned that could even happen to me. At that age, like, how did this even happen? I'm 42. I know myself. Like, how did this even happen? I was so confused, and that really affected me more than so many of the others. Because now I'm in a place where I've gone through so much healing and learned who I am and what I like, what I don't like, and my what is it that I want in life. And I was really quite content just being on my, like, in my younger years, I really craved and pined for this relationship that I thought I needed for security. I thought I needed that love and that happiness, that it was going to come in a man, in a relationship. It never did. And then over the years, through so many changes that I've gone through, I learned that actually I had to find that in myself, and I was finding it myself, and I had found it in myself. So when this guy came along,
how did this happen then? Wow.
Exactly.
That's the thing with domestic abuse, though, because it can happen to anybody,
Anytime.
At any time, no matter what career you are, even if you're working in domestic abuse, you could be a police officer, a social worker. I've dealt with many clients across the board, and domestic abuse doesn't pick, I'm gonna, it's gonna be you. No. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Even if you're the most amazing healer or you've gone through your heal, it can still happen, because when we meet a man, we never see the true person. We see the best sides of them. They come across as the guy that we want to be with for the rest of our lives. We don't actually see.
I thought I met my soulmate.
And that's what they do.
Is this what it feels like to meet a soulmate?
You know what I mean? And this is what it is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of men do wear a mask, and it's only it falls off at some point along the line. And
they also know how to tune into you. They're skilled at tuning into what you're interested in, where you're at. It will feel like it's your soulmate. Okay. Tell us some more. Elka.
that you're saying that. Because I wasn't looking for anything. I got things to do with my life. I'm really quite happy. This guy came along, and the conversations were great, and you know what I mean, like they were really topics that I enjoyed talking about and discussing. I was like, I like this, like it's nice of it. And we related because he came from a church background, and he came from community, and on the journey to like then exploring, well, who am I, where are my roots? I want to find out who I am. So that was a lot of the things that we had in common, were with that. So there was lots of common ground. And I found that attractive. But yeah, so we kind of like, it developed quite quickly. I did say, you know, like, it's cool, like, let's just get to know each other, let's just be friends. And then he came with the, well, if we do it now, if we do it in 6 months, what difference does it make? It's gonna work.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna work. If it's not, it's not. And so me being me also, I'm quite a go with the flow kind of person. I was like, well, yeah, I suppose he's right. He's not wrong. He didn't say wrong. He is right. So yeah, so I dismissed what I was saying and went with that. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was having a beautiful experience until I started to notice some things that I wasn't prepared to negotiate on.
Okay. And that's when the problem started.
Yeah. So there were some things that I brought to his attention. And when I did, he didn't take it very well. He you know, he took it as, I'm judging him, or what you think about me is not my concern. What I think about me is my concern. He's not wrong. That's true. But I wasn't trying to change him. What I was trying to say to him is, what you've presented to me and what I'm seeing is two different things. So if something changes, I'm going to notice. And I did. But I was already now at a stage where I already had decided I'm not settling for anything less than what I deserve.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to stay in this because I thought I met my soulmate. And the thing is, to me, I feel like, yeah, he was. And he still is. And he just came to show me something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without going too far off. But yeah.
What was the nature of the abuse then? How did it manifest?
It's funny because I never saw it until afterwards.
Okay.
Because it was so subtle.
Right.
So he would push boundaries. He would try and make me. I remember there was one night we were sitting at the table, and this was before I'd opened Medizen. I think I just got the keys to Medizen.
Okay.
The keys to Medizen, and so I was spending a lot of time there, obviously fixing up the place, and like, you know, everyone was excited. My friends were excited. I've been sharing this vision with them.
I remember I spoke to you around that time as well. You was very excited.
There at the table.
Yeah.
That was the first day I said it out loud. I was like, oh, I did it now.
I remember. Yeah.
And he was like, so what is this? What is it? What is it all about? And so I was trying to explain, like, so like, how are you going to make money? I was like, well, people will rent the place out to, you know what I mean, run workshops and stuff like that. Different types of self-development programs. All I knew is that the vision for Medizen was that it was going to be a healing space. And I wasn't who I am now back then. So I never saw myself as somebody that was going to be actually, you know, offering healing services myself. Like I was just bringing together. I was just a facilitator. That's what I saw my role as. Like I had this dream, I had this vision, and I'm just going to make it happen.
So was he trying to tear down that dream and that vision? That's what it sounds like. At that
moment, it felt like he was trying to make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And then telling me about, well, you got to think about the finances and blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, yeah, I am.
You know that. Yeah,
I am thinking about the finances. That's why I'm going to hire out the rooms, because his concern was that I'm going to stop doing my beauty treatments. I didn't want to continue to do beauty like that. I want to let that go. I want to change my lifestyle. Like, I don't have to continue to do nails and lashes just because that's how I make my money. There are so many other ways, and I've already.
But that's your passion. That's your career. So why was he making that his issue?
Because
money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was looking at the finances.
Okay.
And how it was going to benefit him. That's
right.
what I believe. That's
how it. As I sat here listening, that's what just came to mind.
I had no idea. I had no idea that he was in such a shit financial situation.
Right.
But there was little things that I noticed very early on that kind of made me cringe. But you know, when you think, oh, am I being judgmental?
Yeah.
Like, he asked me for money really early on.
Right. Okay.
Well, a red flag, come on.
Yeah.
What? That's more than a red flag. Blanket.
So there was like this battle going on in my head, like, is that a red flag? Or is it even that much of a big deal? Like, it's only a $5, but why would you even ask for a $5?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Time, like, I wouldn't do that. And I'm a woman. Do you know what I mean?
And there was no shame on his part then, was there? Really?
None. And that's the thing that I started to learn was, he didn't have any shame in asking for money, or even like.
So Elka, did it go from he borrowed a $5 and paid it back, and then borrowed some more? Went to different amounts or not, or it was just.
Yeah, so it would be like different amounts, but it's not like he would never. So there was times when he would actually pay for things.
Yeah.
Not very often though.
Okay.
Not very often.
Yeah.
But I was also, I'm an observer, so I was observing.
Yeah.
So when these things did start to come up, I did address it quite early on. And that was when I was saying to you, I didn't address the finance. Okay. I didn't think that was necessary. But what I did address was that he wasn't well. And then he would eat things that were really not good for him.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I would be cooking good food, healthy foods.
Yeah. And he want to
eat takeaways and order burgers and shit like
and that would offend you then, wouldn't it? Because you
think even offend me. I like, if that's what you want to do with your body, that's fine. But then your health affects me.
Impacts on you. That's right. And he's also demonstrating that he doesn't even care about himself.
That was the thing. It's like, hold on, we're having all these conversations about self-love and this and that and whatever, but I'm not seeing that you're actually
but in some women that would make them feel a little bit worthless as well, because if you're there trying to look after your man, trying to cook for him and do things, and he's not eating it, you know, there is women that would feel, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to be that wife or trying to be that good woman for you, cooking good foods, and you're not eating it.
And you want to eat burgers and chips.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I would definitely feel offended if that was me. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing wrong? I start to question myself. I'm not looking after my man properly, and then you know what I mean? And it's just like, again, it's just that would impact me emotionally.
But it's obvious that the food actually was too good for him.
Well,
because
you were too good for him.
I think what I'm picking up is that he was speaking all the right language when you were speaking about self-love, self-care, health, inner healing and physical, but it was actually fake.
He was doing the opposite.
That's what I learned. What I realized, and this is what I'm saying. So during the process, I didn't really clock the manipulation.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't clock it until literally there was a day. I am kind of like cutting a long story short.
No, that's fine.
But the day that where he actually displayed physical intimidation, he didn't hit.
Okay.
He didn't hit me. I think he knew that wasn't going to happen. But we got into an argument, and this is the other thing, was like, I really don't like arguing. I don't want to argue. Like, my home is my sacred space. It's my place of peace. And I've spent many years developing myself and a space that I enjoy being in. And it's like he just came in and was like disrespecting my space. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, one night we was watching a film downstairs. I'd come up to bed. When I went downstairs in the morning, like, the popcorn had been left on the floor, and there was popcorn on the floor. And you've seen me cleaning the house. You know what I mean? Why didn't you just pick it up the floor? Anyway, so I just asked him to clean it up. And his response was, I wasn't the only one eating popcorn.
Oh gosh, like a child.
Like a child.
And treating you like you're his slave.
Like,
you have to clean up after him.
Why would you even say that? Like, you know that I wasn't downstairs when you lot left. So why have you even responded like that? So anyway, that, because I was in a place where I wasn't going to accept this, like, so I've been going through months of just putting up with stuff because I was focusing on opening medicine. It's like, I can't be focused on medicine, doing all of that, and then having these arguments. Like, I don't do that. So it was like I had to literally block it out, because I was like, nothing else is going to take my energy right now. All of my energy is going into medicine. This is my vision, this is my dream, and it's going to stop it. And yet I'd have to come home to a house that was a tip.
And that would affect you mentally and emotionally as well.
I don't move like that. And you're at home pretending like you're looking at nothing, and you're not doing nothing. Not even cooking, not even thinking, oh, let me cook something. Let me just clean up after myself.
Disgusting.
And just for the audience as well, I do want to pick up on something that Elka said about the intimidation. That is another form of abuse as well. So it's when they don't physically hit you, but they intimidate you to control you. Okay, so they may do things like shouting at you, screaming at you, go up in your personal space. They could be walking around, kicking things, punching holes in walls, even to the point where if they've got weapons in the house, and they'll be cleaning weapons. They're not saying to you, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to cut you with it, but they're doing it to frighten you, intimidate you into thinking they could hurt me with that weapon. Okay, so
basically threatening behavior.
Threatening behavior.
Words.
So that is another form of domestic abuse as well.
That was when it was like, that was when I recognized that I was being abused. So that day when that turned into an argument, he got up and literally was in my face. So obviously I'm not going to try and fight a big man, am I? And I recognized this behavior. So it took me right back to, obviously my childhood, other relationships that I abusing. But so I stepped back, and every step that I took back,
he come forward with you.
Till I was in a corner. He backed me up into a corner till I could not go anywhere now. Like, the only thing now is left for you to just actually physically put your hands on me, innit? And he didn't, which I was grateful for. He didn't, but that's when I knew I wasn't safe. And I actually left my own house.
Oh no.
And he went and sat back down, carried on doing what he was doing. And I was just so confused. I was like, wow. So actually, no, before I left the house, I was like, really? I was like, I said, what was that? I said, so are you going to hit me? Did you want me to feel like you was going to? I didn't put my hands on you. I was like, yeah, but you wanted me.
You wanted to
Believe
or
that
you wanted to, yeah, or believe that.
That's what that is about. You wanted to feel like I was in danger. I did feel like I was in danger. I left my own house and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to call my friends. I didn't want to call the people. I didn't want it to get messy. I just wanted this man out of my house. And so when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I did say to her, says, look, I says, I'm going to call your mom. I'm going to call your cousins. You need to find somewhere to go because you can't be in my house anymore. Like this, I'm not willing to accept this. I'll go when I'm good and ready. You can't.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said to me. You can't evict me.
Exactly. Control.
This is not an eviction.
Exactly.
You're not a tenant.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, well, he was a lodger.
Oh, was he?
He was a lodger. He wasn't a random person. He was a friend of mine's cousin.
Right.
He had asked her, I'm moving to Birmingham to go to the course down here. And do you know anyone that's got any rooms or flats? My flat, my spare room was empty. And I thought, oh, well, it's not a stranger, you know?
Yeah.
In the circle, trying to know what he's about.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was putting myself at any kind of risk.
Yeah.
So he moved in here, and that's why it was able to develop so quickly as well.
Because he was actually in the house.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
how did he leave? Did you have to end up calling the police or?
Yeah, because we was in lockdown, this was what was happening. Because we was in lockdown, there was all these new kind of rules and regulations and things like that. So landlords were not able to evict anybody.
Okay.
Remember? So, but this wasn't. So he was trying to come with that angle. But this isn't that.
Yeah.
We crossed that line ages ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's breached that.
Exactly.
Tenancy it was, whatever it was. He's breached it anyway.
Yeah. And so he was trying to come with that from that angle anyway. But yeah.
But if you're in fear anyway, and when it comes to
feel safe in my own home.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when it comes to anything to do with domestic abuse, or if you're in fear, that cuts all that out anyway. You know what I mean? So he can still be taken from the property if you're in fear, or if it's domestic abuse.
But even so, I left my house and I went to the shop because obviously, like, I didn't want to be in the house. I called his cousin, and I didn't tell her anything. I didn't want to. It wasn't the time for that. I just wanted someone who knew him down here to give him somewhere to live. Even if it's temporary, I just wanted him out of my house. But he wasn't going. He decided he's not going. I called his mom to ask his mom to whatever, and after speaking to his mom, she revealed so much more. She had literally been sending him money every month. He didn't tell his mom that he lived with me. Okay. He made her believe that his landlady and his girlfriend were two different people.
Wow. Hey. Can I pause you there, Elka? And this is the reason why it's important to date somebody over a long period of time. Because when you first started talking about, you know, the story with him, and you said that you wanted to date a lot longer, and he was saying, well, what's the point? Is it going to make a difference if we date now or 6 months later? Well, that's the difference.
Absolutely.
That is the difference.
He didn't want me to meet his mom.
Yeah, because then you would have found out who the real person was.
Yeah.
You know, because within that 6 months' time, you could have probably met his mom, probably had spoken to a close friend or family members, and really had an eye opener of what he was really like.
So it's funny because as you're saying that, his cousin, who was a friend of mine, she said something, but she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
It's like she says, oh, he's going around just wanting, trying to find people to heal him, because he had a lot of issues.
Right.
So he suffered a lot of trauma. So he did have a lot of issues. And that was the other thing that he highlighted a lot. Like he'd talk about his trauma and issues and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So me being me, you know.
Yeah.
I can help you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, we always do feel that we can help our partners. And then we always get torn down in the process. But one thing I don't like, and you know, and I know it's really common that, you know, we all go through our traumas and we all go through, you know, the bad experiences, but what I don't like is when people use that as an excuse to treat another person badly. You know, and I've seen that happen over and over again, you know.
He said to me, so he said to me, he was the one that was like, you know, let's talk about our triggers and our traumas and stuff like that. He said one of his triggers, and he never wants to hear this, was get out of my house. Right. Yeah, somebody telling him to get out of their house.
That means this is something that happens to him all the time.
Yeah. So obviously I didn't know that at the time, but later on,
so he knew there was going to be a point where you were saying to him, get out. So he was pre-warning, that's a trigger for me. Don't say that to me. He's smart. He's smart.
You know, he's smart.
He was smart, but he was smart.
He's very smart. Trust me, he's very smart. But I had also picked up on certain things, and I'd said to him, like, I can only assist you so much. But I'm not going to heal you. I'm not your healer. You are your own healer.
Yourself.
You know what I mean? Like everything that I've done for myself, everything that you see now, I've done it.
Yeah.
Who I am now, I've done it. Nobody did the work for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm who I am now because of all the time and effort that I've put into myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had to go through some dark stuff to find who I am.
Yeah.
I had to undo a lot of darkness in my mind, had to see myself, the truth of who I am, all the vulnerable sides of me. I've had to be all of that to actually become stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, I wasn't prepared to be his crutch in a sense. As much as I was still going to be there for him. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, he talked
about what sort of feelings did you have for him? Did you fall in love with him?
Yeah, I would definitely I would say that I loved him. I care for him.
Yeah.
I care about how he is now. I don't know anything about him and I don't feel like I need to.
Yeah.
But I really do hope that he's got the help that he needs, or he's getting the help that he needs, or he's seen that maybe the experience that he had with me and the way things ended, because I wasn't nice about it. You know what I mean? I went public with it. I didn't hide. You know, I went public for that very reason, what you were saying.
Tell me some more about going public. What did you do?
I literally put posts about everything that was happening.
Yeah, I did see
and I shared my thoughts.
Yeah.
And you know, I let myself be vulnerable because I thought, I was shocked that it was happening to me. So I was like, if this can happen to me, how many other women are out there?
Exactly.
Happening to, and I thought, you know, well, number one, I'm not going to feel shame for something that someone else is doing.
Yeah.
Because all I've done is be a good person, is care for you, is create a nice, safe, loving environment for you. Do you know what I mean? I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And
totally right.
You've abused that. You're the one that's disrespected it, and now you're trying to manipulate me or make me out to be the bad person because I'm not a stupid little idiot that's going to just be walking all over.
Exactly.
Like, no, now I recognize that you need to come out of my space, and I'm not going to just, I was still trying to be nice about it. I was still trying to not call the police. Trust me, I had friends that were like, nah, you need to this, you need to that. I was like, yeah, but I don't want it to get messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been there as well when I've tried. I've phoned family members. I've like, you know, can you please talk to me, because I will call the police. I don't want to call
the police.
In one of my last interviews, I was even I did actually touch upon that, and I was saying that I phoned my perpetrator's auntie to say, look, you know, if he doesn't stop this, we're going to call the police. Then I got told we don't call police on our black men, and this you know, this, you know, until I ended up feeling, like I was doing something wrong, you know. So yeah, I did try to be nice about it on plenty of occasions as well, and it didn't work. Yeah.
Oh, Elka, what have you learned from this experience then?
What I've learned is people talk. You know, people will say so many things, and don't get me wrong, this is what I'm saying, like even in the woke community, it doesn't matter how spiritual, I don't give a shit about your lingo and what you tell me, you know. I want to see how you live,
like how you act, how you treat people.
One of the things that I did say to him when we did then get into a relationship, and I said to him, I says, well, if we're going to do this, then I would want you to move out. I want you to move out, and I want to see how you live, because you get to see how I live. You get to see how I live. You get to experience the space that I create. I want to come to your house, and I want to see how you live, and I want to see, I want to experience your energy, what you create. You know what I mean? So I said that from day one, and he was like, yeah. But it never happened.
So how did he eventually leave then, after you spoke to his mom and she gave you that insight?
Yeah, eventually, imagine I was there trying to, you know, even find places for him to go to. He was telling me, he kept sending me links to the .gov website about how he can't be evicted. Yeah, this is what he's doing after he's said that he'll go, because I was not budging on it. Like, he's just got to go. Eventually, I called the domestic helpline on the day because I didn't want to call the police. I called the domestic helpline to see what domestic abuse helpline, to see what advice I could get. And they did say to me that they would have him removed, that the police would remove him. So yeah, eventually I did. I had to call the police because he wasn't going. And he was doing, it was really horrible. So my friend stayed here with me. But he was then, it was like he was coming down, using the kitchen, cooking and dancing about in the kitchen. And it was just so like, wow, you are really sick in the head. That's I see how evil this guy really is. When he left, well, he didn't leave. I called the police, and they said that they were going to come. They'll come, they're called or whatever. They're not coming to arrest him. They're coming to just remove him from He'd gone out, and they came. It was just a coincidence. And so when they called him, they came here, you know, they got my side of the story, then they called him. He said, oh, he's not in the area. I know he was in the area. Anyway, eventually, what they said is that they're going to give him 10 minutes, and if not, they're going to, I can't remember, I think they said they're going to remove his things or whatever. And he must have been giving them some lip on the phone with all the rights and what have you. He evicted and all the rest of it. But eventually he came. He was outside. They were outside, and then he came, and they said, oh, is that him? I was like, yeah. And I don't know what was said between them, but they were there for ages, and he was given, I could just tell by his body language that he was saying that basically he's not going and they have no rights and all the rest of it. Eventually, they had to arrest him.
Right.
Yeah, they had to arrest him. And then, then I think that's when one of his friends came and took some of his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. One of his friends. And first he was going, he doesn't know anyone in Birmingham. He's got nowhere to go. He'll be on the streets, like making it out.
Responsibility.
Exactly. And it's another tactic that they use as well, you know, to try and stay.
So on one hand, you're making yourself a victim, but then you're behaving like, you know what I mean? Like, like nothing can't touch you. I don't. So
okay.
After that, no, it doesn't finish there. The real traumatic behavior, the real abusive behavior was more displayed afterwards. So like I found his mom was going to come, so they released him. And it was like I didn't call the police to have him arrested. That's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want.
He made that happen to himself, but they will blame you because that's what they do. It's always someone else's fault.
But they released him with no charge, and that's fine. He sent me that message like as if
you won something.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to screw your life up.
I
mean, I just want my space. Back. I just want you out my space. And so he wasn't allowed to come back here, obviously. So they got some stuff, but his mom was supposed to come. Well, she did arrange to have all his stuff taken out. He didn't want anyone to touch his things. I said, I'm not interested in none of your things. So I've taken pictures of everything. I don't care. There's nothing in your
steal his things.
Like
we're all part of the keeping connected and reasonably communicating with you.
And anyway, his mum phoned to arrange to pick up his things. And then for some reason, I felt the night before, to ask her, who's going to come with you? Because he better not be coming in. She called me and somehow managed to bypass answering that question. And I didn't even clock until the morning. I was like, oh my God, she didn't even answer.
Did she bring him?
Huh?
She bring him with her?
Yes, she brought him with her.
Oh my goodness.
She brought him with her.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. She brought him with her, and then she I think she knocked the door. She knocked the door. He wants to come in and get his things. I was like, he's not coming back in this house. And you know what? Neither will you then. Everything like black bags. I'm trying to do the decent thing.
Done the right thing.
Space to go and pack his things rather than me touching them because he doesn't want them.
And as a woman, she should have known all of this.
Listen,
some women really shocked me and surprised me.
But you know something as well, I'm just thinking, well, if he's got a mom, why is he living with his mom?
Well, that's the thing. I said, you need to go back to your mom's. I can't live there. Well, you can't live here.
He looks like he looks like someone who can't live anywhere.
I learned a lot about him after that, that he'd lived in other women's homes and intimidated them as well and made them, they had to have him evicted. The same, his mom actually told me, he did this in London. Literally before he moved here, that he did it to somebody else.
So why did she bring him with her? Why did she bring him with her then? But to live so she knows that he's.
So she said, "I got no choice." She says, "Well, you know, I didn't have a choice."
It intimidates her.
That's what it
is.
He does. So I says, "Well, you did have a choice, and you chose to bring him." I mean, and now his things are going to go into black bags, and I'll be putting them outside on the doorstep, and you can sort them out on the road.
Wow. So he's a serial. I don't know what to call him. What would you call it, Jess?
He's a serial perpetrator.
And then after that, I spoke to, actually, I was speaking to one of my friends one. So So for like 3 nights after he was gone, I literally couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Every sound that this house made, I just couldn't sleep. Yeah, I was scared.
Yeah.
Like, I was amazed at how scared I was. Like, it upset me. Like, why am I so scared? Like, why the
did he threaten you at all? Did he threaten you to put that fear into you?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
But that's what intimidation that he did.
Yeah.
Was
what could he do? Yeah. Would he come back? Because he was obviously mentally not there as well. And he's probably was, people like that are capable of anything,
coming back, anything.
So
well, that's the thing, because obviously he's lived in the house, he knows the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
keys to the house, I'm assuming. So
they took the keys off him.
Okay.
But yeah, like, it's for one of my friends stayed with me, and she slept downstairs. And in the morning, she's coming up the stairs, and my heart, I jumped because I'm thinking, who the hell
that she was there?
I forgot that it's her.
And
like, bless my friends, they stayed on the phone with me all night till I could sleep. And I had a lot of support, thankfully.
That's good.
I had a lot of support, but unfortunately I also lost friends because I went public about it.
But they were never really your friends in the first place. If they can't support you in a situation like this and understand that you needed to share your story, this was part of your healing, and they're not going to talk to you or be angry with you.
What?
They were never meant to be there. Yeah, they needed to go.
Well, clearly they're gone, innit?
So it's
don't miss them, don't cry over them, let them stay over there. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was sad because they were friends that I held very dear. And still do, that was their viewpoint, or whatever their reasons were. To be honest, I don't feel like we ever really got to actually talk about it properly.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what they chose to do. They chose to remove themselves.
Right.
And Elka, let me just ask you, so going public about it, what was your thinking behind doing that, or was it just your...
I don't think I was really even thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. In a way, I feel like what I was doing was like, you're not getting away with this.
Yeah.
That was my way of standing up for myself.
Yeah.
My way of not being shamed.
Yeah. And not keeping his dirty secret.
And because in all that time when it was all going on, you just held that down and were having that experience. And then I get that, and I get what you're saying, Jess. Because Elka, you're saying not be shamed, and Jess, you're saying, well, you're not keeping his dirty secret. It's true.
Well, and the thing is, he could go on and do this to somebody else's child.
Exactly.
All the people that were telling me, oh yeah, but this was one of them girls were like, some things are just meant to be private. Why
it's
should
your life?
Why should I keep that private?
Exactly.
Man, he goes round conning women.
People need to be warned. It's true.
Trying to basically scrounge off them and live off them. And dominate them. That was his purpose, his
objective,
to dominate me in my own home. You know what I mean? And so now, like, you picked the wrong girl, mate.
Exactly. And it's your journey, and if you've got a right to talk about things that's happened in your life and on your journey. I have heard that line before as well, don't talk about me.
I
never named him. I've
never named mine, because if I did that, he'll make it about him, and it's not about him. It's about me and my experience and my journey and how it's affected me and how I'm healing from it. So that's the only reason why I'm not, because he'll just twist it round, manipulate it round, and then make it to be all about him. So that's my personal reasons why I haven't named, because it's about me.
I didn't name him because I thought, I'm not trying to create some sort of like drama.
I understand that as well.
You know what I mean? This was more about just me.
sharing the experience.
And
exactly.
And not being violent.
Do you know something? Again, I've sat here listening, and it's you know, Jess, it's like people will think about domestic abuse, and again they think about violence, or they think about, and it just shows all of the kind of subtleties to the way that the perpetrators get their control and get things their way. You know, it is such a tricky, it's something that, like with Elka, you know, something similar happened to me actually with a man, but it's like it just kind of happens to you and you don't even realize what's going on. You know,
because of the routes that they take.
That's right.
I believe now, after speaking to his ex, so after that one night when I was saying, like, you know, I was really scared, so had a friend who also knew him, and I was on the phone to him, and he stayed on the phone with me, and I was explaining to him like how I was feeling, and I said, it's almost like I feel like I've been raped. That's how it felt.
Violated. Absolutely.
I don't know how else to describe this feeling. Like, he's violated me. Like, how are you saying, how am I begging you to leave my house and you're saying no? You're saying no, this is my safe space, and you're telling me that you're not going.
Right.
What am I supposed to do?
Those people are dangerous.
Definitely.
That is definitely, and that is actually a rapist mentality.
Like, you're not taking what
you're saying no.
And he's
saying no, you cannot stay here, and he's saying no, I can. So no, it's dangerous. Dangerous.
That whole feeling of, this is your space, I don't really give a shit.
I'm going to violate it. I'm going to take it or violate it. And that's
take it by force.
Take it by force.
No.
And so I was talking to one of my friends, and when I was explaining to him all that was happening, all that had happened, he goes, oh gosh, this sounds just like what, I'm not going to name her, but
went through,
was telling me. I was like, oh, you know her? He goes, yeah. And she shared with me, you know, a lot of things. I was like, I asked him, I was like, do you think that she would be open to speaking to me? And he goes, well, I'll ask her. And she was. And I tell you, speaking to her helped me so much. I was so confused. I was so baffled as to how this happened to me. How did this happen to me? Like, and when I actually went on her page and looked at her and saw the kind of person she was, I was like, wow, how did you manage to do this to her? Like, she's an amazing woman. She's got 2 amazing children she's bringing up. She's an entrepreneur. She's just amazing. And I was like, wow, you literally struck gold here. How did you not just appreciate what you had? Like, she's but speaking to her, when she shared, I was like, oh my God, yes, that's what he did to me. Yes, that's what he did to me. It was like literally exactly the same thing. And that's when she made me realize that he basically went through your Instagram page, figured out who you are.
She was,
and he used all of those tactics to basically, he played the game. That's what he did. And so that again was another thing that was like,
take you with me,
whoa, like it really messed with my head, because then you start to question, like, yourself, like, do I even know myself? You know? Like, am I a really good judge of character? Because I thought,
and that's what it makes you do. But you are, but they do make you question yourself, question your sanity, you know. You know, and I know that I have certain ways. No one's perfect.
Certain things.
Yeah.
And you would try and make it out like I'm a control freak. but he would literally bang on about it, like in moments, like real psycho episode. Like he'd be, don't even want to imitate it. It's cringe and
again, that's just another tactic, them trying to tear you down, make it out like you're the issue and not them. And that's what they do. So how did you heal yourself out of that then? So once he left, and you know, did he contact you again after he left, by the way? Okay, good.
Yeah, you know, it's after that, you know, I feel like the weeks after that were actually the hardest.
Okay.
Not because there was a relationship that ended, because actually I'd been violated.
Yeah.
My space had been violated. It was hard because now I'm trying to get all of this in my life. Like I just want to get back to who I am. I want to be the person that I was before he entered into my life. Like I want my home to feel like how it used to, because now it doesn't feel that way anymore. It doesn't feel like my safe space. It doesn't feel like my chill out lounge. It doesn't feel like my place of peace. And so then I was on this mission to try and get back to that. And, you know, I had very supportive people around me that I'm so grateful for. And the other thing that I was really afraid of was like, am I going to have trust issues with men now?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I had worked through a lot of stuff prior to that. And now here I am at the end of another abusive relationship. What does that mean for me? Like, how is this going to affect me? I don't want it to affect me. And so I think that was my journey. The mission really for me was, okay, I want to go back to who I was before. I don't want these feelings. I don't want to feel afraid. I don't want to feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to think about him. I don't want to be upset.
So is spirituality a big part of your healing journey then? And did that have a big impact on you healing through that? Because I've noticed over the last few years, especially since you've opened Medi Lounge, that you've become very spiritual. And I know you're doing your workshops, and you know you're going away and doing your healing work. Has that become a big way of you healing, through what you've gone through?
So part of I was already on that path anyway. I'd already opened Medizen, and then we'd got into lockdown, and it was lockdown really helped me. It gave me the space to actually stop thinking about Medizen, stop thinking about my home, and it gave me all the time and the space that I needed to get him out, and then deal with all the aftermath. And I believe that going through that was a catalyst for my healing. Going through that, actually, I remember the moment when he backed me up into the corner. It was like the scales fell from my eyes, literally. Like feel them physically fall. It was like, oh my God, you're a narcissist. And it was like, I've been here before. And then it was like one of my exes. I remembered him and the way he would manipulate me. And it's like, yes, I was actually in a narcissistic abusive relationship before. And then it was like, oh my God, my dad, that's what my dad was like. Because my dad was physically abusive. And I started to see the trauma. I started to see things that I really needed to heal from. And he was it was almost like he was someone that came to bring all of that up. Not to say that, oh, he didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
He's still aware, he still knows what he's saying. You know what I mean?
So what type of healing did you do? Just so people can be aware of, you know, the different forms of healing methods that's out there to heal from, you know,
lots of crying.
Trauma. Yeah. And that does help, you know. I always tell people, never bottle that up. If you need to cry, because it's a way of just kind of letting it go, releasing.
Talking, I mean, sharing, going public and sharing what I did online. One of the saddest, as much as it was really helpful for me and it was quite empowering for me to do that, the messages that I was getting, the bombardment of messages that I got from women who were either in that space or feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like it was like I was bringing light to their situation. I actually started to do Zoom meetings and inviting people to talk about their experience, and a few women after me sharing, and even though for me it was a very short space of time, for some women it gave them the strength and to actually see that they can leave. You know what I mean? It's all in here. Like you have all the power inside you.
Definitely.
Give them the power.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they train you almost. Like when they come in subtly, they do it a little at a time, a little at a time.
They tear you down little bit by little bit until there's nothing left, and you just
they're trying to break down your confidence. They're trying to isolate you. They're trying to question yourself. Trying to make you lose your confidence and have just become reliant on them. It's like
exactly.
That is such a lie. And so part of my healing was actually helping other people.
And that's been a big part of my healing as well. You know, the platforms that I've created, as I'm healing others, I'm healing myself.
100%.
You know, so I totally resonate with that. Definitely.
I mean, lots of, there's lots of different practices, you know. I know that for a while I would just sit with myself and it's like giving myself the space, allowing myself to feel what it is that I'm going through, because so many times over my life, like I went many years of acting like I wasn't affected.
I've done that myself.
Hiding from my own pain. Busying myself up. But we were in lockdown and there was nothing for me to be busy with.
So you had to face
my own emotions. I had no choice. And so like, you know, I would sit, I just play my music, my frequency music, healing music. I started to explore healing the chakra system. I started to explore, you know, I would cleanse my house. So I was creating rituals where I would cleanse my house, and I was, you know, removing his energy from my home. And bringing love and peace and healing and inviting that into my home and into my body. And it was gradual. It wasn't something that I can say, I woke up one day and then it was all gone.
Healing doesn't work that way. You know, it's a daily gradual practice. Everyone's healing journey is different, of a different amount of time frame, but it is a daily thing. And there's some days where you feel like, great, I feel amazing today, and then you could wake up the next day and you're just crying, you know. So it's a gradual, you know, journey.
And I also, like, you know, just giving myself the space to look at how what was it and actually not dismissing everything, because as much as I could turn around and say, oh, it was all fake, I don't believe it was all fake. You know what I mean? I know that I was being genuine for a start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say, well, no, I didn't love him because now I don't like him as a person. I did.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you was, as you said, you was being a genuine person. You loved him. You know, you wanted a future with him. You were living with him. You know, obviously on the basis of him, you know, being a lodger. But you know, you were living together, and you know, don't ever feel guilty about loving him because you were just being you. You know, but what the issues was that he's got obviously some form of mental health problems. He doesn't know how to treat women. So the issue was over there that's never been addressed.
I think also, it did help me to look at certain things like, he didn't have a good relationship with his mom. Very very unhealthy. Just so many things. There were so many signs that I didn't acknowledge or did, but I overlooked because of all the nice feelings. You know what I mean? All the good things that I was feeling were overriding the red flags. And so I think it's really important to explore how a man is towards his mom, like what's his like with his mom. What are his past relationships like? I only learned about his past relationships from them.
Afterwards.
She then, when I spoke to his ex, she enlightened me on how it was with his ex-wife.
Right.
And actually, he was physically abusive with her. So he physically abused her. And it was an ongoing thing. I mean, that's just two that I knew of.
And this is why it's important as well. Like if you do meet a guy, you know, and you do have some signs of red flags, do a Claire's Law. You know, it's free. You can contact any police station, say, you know, you're with a partner, you're not sure about him, you've got a few red flags, can I do a Claire's Law? And if you're still in the relationship, the police have got a duty of care to do that Claire's Law. The only way that they won't do a Claire's Law, if you're no longer with him, then they won't do the application. Just like what I've mentioned before as well, you know, have that longer period of time to get to know the guy. I know you might fall in love and he may seem like the perfect guy and everything feels nice and you got the butterflies, but still, because, you know, anything can happen. You never know what the person is really like until you've lived with them, or, you know, you're with them over, you know, a period of time, you know, actually get to know them. You know, like what we've just mentioned, see what they're like around their parents, around family members, around friends.
Children, like if they've got children.
Do they see their children? If they don't, well, why? You know what I mean? So those are the little things that you kind of need to know.
And not just taking their word for it. Sounds really like almost like you can't trust what somebody says. But when somebody is that way inclined, you can't trust what they say.
You know?
As much as they might give you a sob story, and that was the thing, like he gave me all sob stories, and you know, he had a daughter, and you know, I didn't meet her. You know what I mean? Or I didn't even see him seeing her. You know what I mean? I think he saw her, he went, can't remember where he went, but wherever it is that they, whatever area they live in. And I think it was about twice during the time that he was with me. And that's not enough.
Exactly. So those are the kind of things, you know, as women we need to start to do, because domestic abuse is something that is so common, you know, it's, you know, and you know, we do need to start protecting ourselves a lot more. We need to start acting on those red flags a lot more, you know, and, you know, as the younger children are growing up, you know, our younger females and males, we need to make sure that, you know, the younger girls are quite aware of these red flags, you know, what to do in things like this, you know, how to, you know, what is healthy, what is not healthy. So yeah, so this is something that we really do need to continually to work on. So before we end, Elka, have you got a message out there that you would want to tell another woman that's experienced something, you know, that you've gone through?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to, don't be ashamed.
Yeah.
There's sometimes the shame is what keeps people trapped.
Yes.
Is they feel like they almost like are embarrassed of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be ashamed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be ashamed of somebody else's bad behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and just know that you can get out. You can turn your life around. It doesn't have to stay with you. There are ways that you can undo trauma as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ways that you can heal, and I say just because like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. Some of these things, like, we've been suffering them for years, and seems like it's never going to end, but it can end.
Yeah, it can. It definitely can end. There is support. You know, I know, you know, there's a lot of people out there who doesn't like contacting the police or don't trust the police. But if you are going through domestic abuse, you do need to call the police, because if the police don't know, they can't do anything. They can't, you know, put measures in place to make sure that you're safe, to make sure that your children are safe. You know, they can remove the perpetrator from the home. Even if you've brought the property in and they join to own it, they can still be removed. There's orders in place where the perpetrator have to leave the home, even if they own that home, you know, where they don't have to live in that home, or they can't live in that home. You know, you do get a lot of perpetrators threatening you with social services and taking you to family court and threatening to make you out to be a bad mom. I work with social services on a daily basis with my job, and I can tell everybody now that that is the last resort that they would do. Their first point of call is safeguarding that child and safeguarding yourself. And as long as you're willing to show as a mother that, you know, that you want to safeguard yourself and the children, they're willing to work with you and to remove the abuser out of your life, you know. And going to court as well, even for contact with the children, is sometimes the best thing, because the judge will then lay down, you know, what days you have, what days the father has, depending on the situation. If they feel that the children are going to be safe with dad, you know, they will, you know, put everything down in order. Whereas a lot of perpetrators do use the children as a way of control as well. They would demand what days they want to see their kids, demand what time they're picking them up, bringing them back, just turning up, you know, when they feel like it. And, you know, they use that as a method. As control as well. So, you know, there is help out there. You know, if you feel low, if you feel like, you know, you can't cope, or, you know, you're overly traumatized with what you've experienced, speak to your GP, get some counseling. Counseling works wonders for thousands of women. You know, don't bottle it up.
Yeah. Can I just add as well, like, at the Medizen Lounge, we actually do a lot of work with, we work with everybody and anybody really, but we can also assist with anyone that's suffering that trauma from past relationships, and you feel like, you know, it's never going to leave you. Like, we can help you find practices to that work for you. Do you know what I mean? The same thing doesn't always work for everybody, but there's different methods that we can use and we can find. So if anyone does want to explore something, an alternative therapy, then please,
I will put Elka's links down at the bottom of the video as well. So again, you know, I've done it myself. I've gone through some Reiki healing, and I've tried different things, and I personally think, you know, it works amazing. Do recommend Elka. She's absolutely amazing. She's gone through an amazing journey of healing. So if anyone out there just want to try, you know, the different forms of healing, you know, I will put the links down at the bottom of the video. So thank you so much, Elka, for being a guest on Ladies Table Talk podcast. You know, it's been so interesting to hear your story, how you've healed yourself, you know, out of it, the different methods that you do, the fact that you've got a practice now to heal other people that's gone through different forms of trauma. And yeah, and just keep going. You know, you are doing amazing.
Thank you so much, Jess and Marcia.
Yeah, Marcia did have to go. Sorry about that. Yeah, she did have to leave
a little bit, but
but yeah, you've been amazing. So I will put the links down, and just thank you for sharing your story and just being vulnerable today and open with us, because each time a woman comes on, you know, this platform and shares their story, it helps other women as well to want to speak out and share their story and not hold things back, and it just cuts that shame. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.